Today we're going to do a video on how to do a headliner. You might remember this car from the rusty roof replacement video. Well, it's come a long way since then. It's back together, it's painted, and now I'm just kind of in the process of putting it together. Now this is one of those jobs that you might think about doing yourself, and I thought about and got to a certain point and realized I didn't really know what I was doing. So I'm handing it over to a pro. This is Adan Echeverria, or something like that, from Original Auto Upholstery from Vancouver, Washington. So you should look them up if you ever need any work. But I've got the bows out. I labeled them when I took them out in order, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's always a good thing to do. And now we're gonna get started and see how it goes. So Adan doesn't speak a lot of English, but I'll be kind of filling in for him. He knows what he's doing. We're gonna start off by gluing all the way around the car on the inside, and he's using a nice high pressure sprayer there with contact cement, and he's going to use a piece of cardboard to mask off where he's going so he doesn't get it on the paint where we don't want it. So
okay,
it makes it a lot easier when there's no glass.
okay. De este lado, un poquito para atrás. Estamos. Okay. The next, put the glue. Ahí, Ravi. Ahí.
So now we're spraying glue around the outside edges of the headliner.
No.
Very good.
You need it silent. Okay.
So now we have to let the glue sit for a little while and dry and get tacky, and after a few minutes we'll be ready to start putting it in.
Okay.
Looks like we're starting in the front.
The middle.
You notice how there's 2 sets of holes. We're putting it in the taller hole, so there's more head clearance.
This is the center, no?
Yeah.
This is the center.
So first, before you get everything set, you want to make sure you've got it centered. So I already measured the headliner beforehand and marked it. So now he's checking that center point. And now he's going to put those little springs in place. Try not to lose those when
You need it. You need it.
So there it is.
Okay. Corte.
So once you've got the bows all in place and hooked in the back, you want to get the center of the front figured out and positioned and stick that in place. And then that way you can start working on stretching and moving everything else.
Okay.
That's a useful tip. When you're pulling the front of it, you want to sort of pull towards the outside and not towards the front. So for the corners, you're not so much pulling forward as you are out. There's not a whole lot that I can say to really narrate this process, but I think a lot can be learned just from observing. It seems like you want to start on one side and sort of get it roughly in place and then move to another area and get it roughly in place and keep going back and forth until you get things more stretched and fitting better. That's the good thing about using this type of glue. You've got some time to reposition the headliner before it really dries. When you get to the back, you want to start with the top and find the center point and work any wrinkles outward from there.
Ok. Vamos a ver. Yo tengo que darle un jalocito más.
If you do get any glue on your paint or anything, use a solvent like this, which will not damage the paint but take the glue off. It helps to make some relief cuts in the corners so you can get it to fit. One thing to keep in mind if you have a 68 standard is these little clips in the front. You will need to trim the headliner to fit. At this point I'm realizing, probably a little too late, that it's a good idea to find your screw holes for all the other things like sun visor brackets and seat belt hooks and all that other stuff. So it might have been a good idea to put the screws in ahead of time and have them poking out so you could cut the holes, but I'll figure something out. You want to trim off the excess so you just have enough to glue to the outer lip there. Yeah, when you make all those little relief cuts, make sure you don't cut the stitching, because then the thread can come completely unraveled. You don't want that. Time again to break out our favorite Steinel heat gun. The C-pillar area can be kind of tricky, so using heat really helps to stretch it out and get rid of the wrinkles.
All right.
Trimming off the excess around the edge.
Ok. Eso es todo. Eso es todo.
What, you think you're done?
Almost.
After you're done trimming, it's a good idea to get all the extra glue off that you may have oversprayed using some solvent. Now that is how you professionally do a headliner the right way. After seeing all this, I have to admit I'm glad that I didn't jump into it completely myself. It does look doable, but it's a lot more finesse and specialized feel than I anticipated. So I have to say thank you to Adan. Appreciate your work.
Thank you for
Good job.
everything. Thank you.
And we'll be seeing him again pretty soon in another video.